2024 Acura Integra Type S First Drive Review, up to 11. Audi's optional trick suspension makes the 621 horsepower super sedan even more capable. The Audi RS6 Avant performance gets all the attention, and understandably so. It's a 621 horsepower supercar slayer with room for 5 folks in their luggage. But hey, don't forget about the Avant's slicked roof, mechanically identical sibling, the RS7 performance. As with the RS6, the RS7 earned some extra horsepower for the 2024 model year with the performance trim in the US. The twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 now pumps out 621 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque, which propels the fastback to 60 miles per hour in just 3.3 seconds and on to a top speed of 177 miles per hour if you go for the Bronze Edition, or limited to 150 miles per hour in standard trim. Granted, these two cars basically identical from a driving and engineering standpoint, the RS7 has a slight 55-pound weight advantage. But they can have disparate personalities depending on how you spec them. While the RS6 I drove at the same event had air suspension, the RS7 got the steel coils. The Sport Suspension Plus with Dynamic Ride Control, DRC, makes the biggest difference to the overall dynamics. Available on both the RS6 Avant and RS7, DRC adds fixed coil springs with adjustable dampers and carbon ceramic stoppers, as opposed to the standard air ride and steel brakes. And off the bat, one thing is obvious, DRC makes the RS7 stiff as hell. Where the standard air suspension offers a nice variation of softness and sportiness, DRC ditches any semblance of comfort for performance on top of performance. So unless you have a track in your backyard or live on a road with the smoothest pavement on planet Earth, the RS7 with DRC is tough to recommend as a daily driver. But if you have a knack for aggressive driving, all the time, everywhere you go, and don't mind rattling your kids around in the back seat, DRC does have huge benefits. The 3-way adjustable dampers give the RS7 better roll and pitch stabilization, which helps counter body movements. So while the ride is indeed ultra stiff, it also yields less body roll and gives the car a more planted feel. The Integra Type S suffers from some rev hang endemic to modern turbocharged, manual shifted cars. That can make acceleration through the gears a bit choppy, as you engage the clutch only to find the engine spinning near where you left it. Alter your behavior by either shifting a bit slower or lifting the throttle proactively, and you're blessed with thrilling acceleration. My butt tells me an Integra Type S could hit 60 miles per hour in just over 5 seconds, though Acura hasn't published an estimate yet. A helical limited slip differential ensures there's a constant supply of grip, while a twin-axis front suspension layout, borrowed from the Honda Civic Type R, almost completely eliminates torque steer. Flooring it out of an apex reveals benign, neutral handling that only rarely reveals some easily controllable will fight. Think of it as a characteristic instead of a design flaw, and the minor torque steer even starts to feel fun. One of the most compelling attributes of the standard 2023 Integra is how pleasant it is to drive in a variety of situations. Its adequate powertrain and responsive chassis conspire to make every trip feel engaging and fun. But the Type S, with 62% more power, has its work cut out for it in terms of maintaining that balanced driving behavior. Luckily, the front drive-only Teggy has plenty of tricks up its sleeve, starting with a comparatively light 3,219-pound curb weight that pays out with nimble, tossable reflexes in every driving situation. And even though the Integra is front-wheel drive, as opposed to the all-wheel drive Audi, BMW, and Mercedes or the rear-drive Caddy, the car puts its power down brilliantly. Like the manual versions of the regular hatch, the Type S comes standard with a true mechanical limited slip differential, which helps split thrust evenly between the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires up front. There's also a dual-axis front steering knuckle in the double wishbone suspension, borrowed from the Honda Civic Type R, which almost completely eliminates torque steer. As a result, flooring it out of an apex reveals benign, neutral handling that only rarely reveals a bit of will fight. Think of it as a charming idiosyncrasy instead of a design flaw, and the minor torque steer even starts to feel fun. Also contributing to the Integra Type S sense of grip and control is a 3.5-inch wider front track and 1.8-inch wider rear. Hidden by well-integrated wheel arch extensions, the wider stance and 3-mode adaptive dampers provide excellent body control, giving the Integra a smooth ride in comfort mode with progressively sharper reflexes in Sport and Sport Plus. Hammering through tight hairpins, the Integra resists high-frequency body motions beautifully, while long sweepers reveal the wider track's excellent roll resistance and stability. Add in steering that's quick and accurate, if a touch light, and you get one seriously confident vehicle. With a thrilling powertrain and excellent handling dynamics, Acura would be doing the Type S a disservice if it came with subpar brakes. No problem here, with 13.8-inch front and 12.0-inch rear disc brakes replacing 12.3 and 11.1-inch units. 4-piston Brembo calipers up front chomp down hard on the rotating bits, with plenty of communication through the tires and chassis to help the driver balance the whoa pedal appropriately mid-corner. The wider bumper corner openings are functional, feeding cool ambient air to the front brakes for even more consistent performance. If the Integra Type S 2.0-liter powertrain, dual-axis front suspension, wider stance, and Brembo braking package sound familiar, that's because they're shared with the aforementioned Civic hot hatch. But the Integra wraps those dirty bits in a slightly more mature wrapper. For example, its rear wing is much less aggressive, with a simple lip on the end of the hatch as opposed to the Type R's WRC-ready box spoiler. The exterior also gets revised front and rear fascias that improve aerodynamics and channel air toward the brakes and radiators. Between the body additions and wide stance, the Type S looks fun, flirty, and sporty. The only exception to its bold, clean styling lies in the wheel arch treatment. The primary fender profile matches the regular Integra, with what look like tacked-on flares covering up the wheels. Look closer and it becomes apparent that they're actually molded into the wheel arches, but I think the Civic Type R's more smoothly integrated body extensions suit the Integra's premium, mature mission better. The nearly mechanically identical Civic Type R also benefits from being $7,605 cheaper than the Integra Type S, but there are some interior upgrades that make the Acura feel worth its base price of $51,995, including $1,095 destination. Better materials range from leather and microfiber suede for the front and rear seats, as well as nicely padded knee bolsters and door panels for the front passengers. The seats are also less aggressively bolstered, appropriate for a compact executive cruise missile. I found them to be more than adequate at providing both long-haul comfort and excellent G-force resistance. The Integra Type S comes comprehensively equipped from the get-go, with heated front seats, an ELS Studio 3D audio system with 16 speakers, and Acura Watch Advanced Driver Assistance. The long list of standard kit and the class competitive materials help justify the Integra segment topping starting price, but there are a few glaring omissions. For starters, the passenger seat doesn't get height or lumbar adjustments, making it uncomfortable after a couple hours. And in spite of the audio upgrade and added sound deadening relative to the Civic Type R, the Integra is a bit booming on long trips, a problem I don't remember in the S3 or CLA. Still, none of its rivals offer the Integra Type S best feature, its hatchback body style. The rear bumper forces a high liftover, worth it to have the 1990s liftback latch cutout make its return, but once you've got your stuff heaved over the lip, you've got 24.3 cubic feet of space to pack up. By comparison, the Audi S3 has just 8.3 cubes, while the CLA 35 isn't much better at 11.6. And with the longest wheelbase in its class, passenger space in the Integra is also near the top, with area accommodations up front and a surprising amount of room in back for 2 passengers. It's max since there are only 2 seatbelts on the rear bench. In many ways, the 2024 Acura Integra Type S competes in a class of one, as the only manual transmission hatchback in its class. If DIY performance is important to you, then the Acura is a bargain at any price. But it's also hard to ignore that some of its rivals offer more technology. Even if you have to pay extra for it, the Cadillac CT4V's Super Cruise package would be tempting. So would the CLA 35's optional massaging and ventilated front seats. And the Audi S3 offers an impressive amount of polish and poise for such a compact vehicle, especially one with standard all-wheel drive and an Acura competitive price. If I owned the thing, I'd be grateful never to sit in its flat, unsupportive passenger seat. That, plus the occasionally droning exhaust and resonant cargo area, conspire to make the Acura feel a bit cheap relative to its competitors. But at the same time, it's far more playful and nimble, turning every errand into an apex. I think the Integra Type S would be my pick of the litter thanks to its exuberant, sassy performance and everyday usable shape. Much like the regular Integra, the 2024 Type S feels balanced and special, and it never fails to put a smile on my face. All that practicality is just a bonus.